So as I was interrupted in part one, this is part two of our linear regression exercise. So yes, when you're adding your trend line, make sure it's linear, and don't worry about these other options, but make sure that you go down here and check off display equation on chart, display R squared value on chart, and click close, and there you have it. And again, the significance of all this stuff was discussed in lab. This is just a demo as to how to do it. So there you go. I would also label the chart properly. So if I left click and select the chart, my chart tools are selected up here. So under layout, I want a chart title. You can overlay it if you want. You could actually move around this this equation in our squared box if you wish. So the chart title here is going to be, actually this is carbon versus organic matter, right? Because organic matter is actually our x-axis, so y versus x, that's the traditional way of naming graphs, so carbon versus organic matter. So it's just the reverse of what's in the handout. This is actually the proper way to label this particular graph here. Y-axis is always mentioned first, and x-axis is mentioned second. All right, how about our axes labels? Right, axis titles, primary horizontal, title below axis. So this is going to be, let's just expand that a bit because it's getting a bit crowded. And you can also change the size of the plot area as well. So this title is going to be organic matter, or just OM in grams. And the y-axis, so axis titles primary vertical, let's do a rotated title. And again, we can kind of mess around with the plot area to fit all of our labels in there. So axis title, so that's going to be carbon, or C, we'll just call C grams. And that's it. And this is the same procedure you want to do for all of the parameters given here, organic matter versus nitrogen, and all of the rest. Keeping in mind, again, organic matter is your x variable, in addition to nitrogen being your x variable. And the rest of these parameters here on the right are your y variables for the purposes of graphing and for the purposes of linear regression. So your output for each of these linear regressions should be under the linreg tab. So if you do another linear regression, you want to make sure that the output is right underneath it. Maybe this cell right here is good, so this way it'll output that linear regression set of tables right here for your next parameter. Create the chart, cut and paste it into this particular worksheet, nestle it next to your table, properly give it a title and the axis labels, and don't forget to flip the x-axis also, and all that kind of good stuff. So all the things that we did to this particular chart, you want to do to all of your charts.